Welcome to the Cosmic Business Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Sophia Pallas, and this podcast is for soulful entrepreneurs who want to harness the cosmic power of astrology to elevate their message, unlock flow, and attract their best clients ever. Join me every week and get excited to discover how you can use the energy of the cosmos to get the business breakthrough you've been waiting for. I've spent many years working in online business marketing. I've been a copywriter and a launch strategist for some epic online entrepreneurs. And you know what I've noticed? The most common issue that brings people unstuck in their marketing is not communicating what or how they do something. It's actually understanding their why. The reason you do your thing is what makes you absolutely unique from everyone else out there. Understanding yourself, your motivation, and your purpose is what allows you to have that clear, refined, and unwavering message that attracts perfect fit clients. Because when you're wobbly on why you do your thing, it's difficult to work out who you're really selling to, and sometimes even how you do it differently. And then it's almost impossible to feel really aligned with your message. That's where astrology comes in. I describe it like a personality test on steroids. You thought you got some insight from the 16 personalities test or the Enneagram. Astrology takes it to a whole new level. It can explain things you never really understood about yourself, including how you get your energy, what you value, how you communicate, and what you're most motivated to do, learn, and therefore teach in this lifetime. But it's not limited to those things. An astrology chart covers every aspect of our lives. You can go as deep and as wide as you like. That's why it's such a fascinating tool. But before I go on, I want to clarify a few things that astrology is not. Astrology is not about fitting you into a box. For example, you're a Taurus and therefore you're stubborn AF and will never change. Astrology is not about knowing everything that will happen. We can look at energy trends and opportunities, not predict material manifestations. Astrology is not a new or untested thing. It's been around for thousands of years and there's loads of evidence to support how it works. Astrology is not a religion or a faith. It's a language. As one of the astrology greats, Dane Rogers, says, when you understand the sky speaks to you. And what I love most about astrology is that every birth chart tells a different story. And as you continue to study the positions of the planets, their signs, locations, and relationships with other points and planets, you begin to unlock and understand the cosmic novel that is your life. And that's pretty freaking incredible. So here's why I think it works so well for online business and marketing. Once you know yourself and what makes you tick at a soul level, you can create messaging and offers that are more aligned, more profitable, and change more lives. Once you know how you communicate best, you can use platforms and stories that are going to highlight your unique skills far more effectively. And once you know what challenges you might need to overcome, you can put things in place to address these so they don't derail you on your business journey. Now, I'm not saying astrology has all the answers or that finding out more about yourself is the solution to all your business problems. It's not. But deeply understanding your why is at the core of business success. If you've been in the online business arena or just the general business arena for a while now, you've probably heard of the famous Simon Sinek TED Talk, where he explains how Apple became such a successful brand. He talks about his golden circle model, where inspiring businesses communicate from the inside circle, their why, all the way to the outside circles, their how and their what. I will link to his TED Talk in the show notes if you want to check this out. The thing is, most businesses only communicate with the what and the how. Is this something you're doing too? Because this is a common problem that I see. If so, let me give you a little insight into what knowing more about yourself via astrology can unlock for you and how it can help you get back into that inside circle, the why. So first of all, You probably know your star sign as the one you used to look at in the back of your favorite magazine each month. You would have been looking for your sun sign, the zodiac sign the sun was in when you were born. The sun sign is a really important part of your chart, but it's important to know it's not the entire thing. It's just one aspect of this multi-dimensional thing that is your birth chart. And I know when I was in my 20s and I used to buy all the magazines just to read the horoscopes at the back, I always felt unsatisfied with these short little descriptions or this one-sided version of me. Because the truth is, the sun sign is just the tip of the iceberg. When you start to look more deeply into astrology, you can look at the placement of all the planets' zodiac positions when you were born to get this more comprehensive, more multidimensional understanding of yourself and what's motivating you. That is what a birth or a natal chart is. It's a snapshot of where all the planets were when you were born. If you have your day, time, and place of birth, you can set up your own birth chart or work with an astrologer to unpack things with you. For the most detailed and specific birth chart, you do need to have an accurate birth time. And this is where some people come unstuck and why they kind of give up. It can be a bit tricky for some people, especially if your parents don't remember the time you were born or it wasn't on your birth certificate. There are ways to find out though if you're really keen to get this really accurate version of your birth chart. You can check the hospital records or the health district records from the town you were born in. You can ask other family members who may have been there at the time, or even consult with a specialist astrologer who can rectify your chart and help you determine the time you were born. If you really can't find out, you can still uncover a whole lot about yourself without the birth time, but I highly recommend you try and find out if you can. Because when I'm working with a client's birth chart, or when any astrologer is working with a birth chart, they're going to start by looking at the sun sign, the moon sign, the place the moon was in when you were born, and the rising sign, which is what zodiac sign was rising over the eastern horizon at the time you were born. And that changes every couple of hours. So that's why it's important to know, have that approximate or as accurate as possible time you were born, because that will really affect that specific point in your chart and that sets up the whole birth chart. So just to run you through what an astrologer is looking for when they're looking at these parts of your chart. The sun sign, which we've already sort of touched on, represents your purpose, your intention and direction in life. It represents what you want out of this lifetime. So it's still a very important part of the chart and not to be overlooked. But the moon sign, the place the moon was in when you were born, represents your emotions and your subconscious needs and your subconscious desires, what's really driving you at a core emotional level. It's the type of way that you are going to react when you're at home, when you're around the people that love you, not necessarily in the public eye or at work, but how you're going to interact with the people that are closest to you. The thing about the moon is it also reflects the sun's light. So metaphorically, it's also reflecting our own ego issues back at us. So that's something that is kind of important to know about the moon sign. The rising sign, which is that sign that was rising over the horizon at the time you were born, is how others see you. It's that point in time that you were born, that very unique to you point that's going to show us most about your personality, possibly even more so than your sun sign. In fact, I would say definitely more so than your sun sign. And that means when you understand that, you can amplify it in your business for more alignment and more opportunities. And I want to give you an example of this. I have this wonderful client who is a Pisces. She's a Pisces sun sign, and she's always felt at odds with this star sign of Pisces. But when we looked at her whole birth chart, we uncovered that she has a Leo rising, and it all started to make much more sense. Because this client loves to wear bright, bold colors, and everybody notices when she walks into the room. She loves to be on stage. She has the presence of a Leo, the boldest, most expressive sign of the zodiac. Because it's ruled by the sun, it's like the sun or spotlight is always shining on Leo people. But she was always at odds with who she should be as a Pisces, this very kind of mystical, shy, and not in the spotlight because it's the last sign of the zodiac, and it tends to be seen as this more quiet, reserved star sign, but she never felt that. She always felt this kind of more outgoing, not necessarily an extroverted personality, but this more comfort with bold colors, with bright things, with being on stage. So now that she understands that about herself, that she actually presents in this Leo rising way, she feels much more confident to channel that into her business, including in her copy and branding. And we just went all out with the Leo energy in her branding, and things for her have just taken off once she embraced that part of herself. So that is just one example of how knowing yourself on a more deep level can help you move forward in your business in this more aligned and exciting way. But there are other things that I'm going to look at as an astrologer in your birth chart as well that's going to give me more insight into your why and what's going on for you at those core levels. So once I've looked at the big three key parts of the chart, the sun, moon, and rising, I'm going to move on to look at your Mercury, how you communicate, your Mars, where you get your drive or your energy and how you like to take action, and your Venus, what you like or love and what you value. And this is really key to what feels good and what is your reason for doing what you do. Depending on the setup of your chart, Venus can be one of those core things that is giving you your purpose. I'm also going to look at other elements in your chart like midheaven. So that's what you're known for. Saturn, which is the structures, challenges, and lessons you might be here to understand or break down. That can often be really closely related to your why, your purpose. And Jupiter, where you can experience growth and expansion. Then, after we've looked at where those planets are, we're going to take a look at the aspects the planets make with each other and how that is going to color your life and your business choices. I know for me, understanding more about some of those trickier aspects in my natal chart has given me this profound insight into how I show up in my business and my home life, and some issues I might need to work on around boundaries and expectations. So knowing my own chart has helped me make sense of how I best communicate. It's helped me know the kind of support I need in my business, and it's helped me to lean into the areas where I can truly expand. It also has given me this really clear sense of my why, like why I am doing this. And that has shown up not only through, my rising sign, which is a Taurus rising. So I'm here to really help ground things down into this tangible, practical sense for people. But also when I'm looking at my Venus is in Scorpio, and it's in an important part of my chart in the 7th house. This is really, for me, about digging deeper into personality, into psychology, into potentially taboo subjects, and into relationships, business relationships particularly. So what I love about this whole process is that when I sit with a client to walk them through their birth chart, it's like walking them back home to themselves. It feels affirming, like someone is finally seeing them for the first time. And once you feel seen and know your why, you're a huge step closer to actualizing your potential in life and business. So we'll be talking more about this in the next episode, or in the next few episodes, when we cover how to use your rising sign for better business success, how to work that into your business. We're going to be looking at the midheaven and how you show up in your business. We're going to be looking at also some practical things around how to work with the planetary days for more productivity in your business. But overall, I want you to get this sense of yourself and your why. That is at the core of why I'm doing this work, is that I want you to know what's really motivating you, what's really driving you forward, because that is where your best messaging is going to come from. And therefore, you're going to be able to attract those perfect fit clients when you really know what you're here to do. Okay, have an awesome day, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for joining me on the Cosmic Business Breakthrough. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, head to sophiapalace.com or follow me at Sophia Palace over on Instagram. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I'd love for you to take a moment and review the show if you found it helpful and share it with a few friends. Thanks again, and I'll speak to you next time.